Hello friends and welcome back to my channel. I'm Cassidy Carson and this is the life of a writer. As I record this, today is January 18th, 2026. It is the middle of a holiday weekend for some people because tomorrow is the Martin Luther King observation and a lot of people will be off work. So I know we do not get things like mail delivery tomorrow, but there are people obviously who still have to work that day because depending on what industry you're in, the holidays may differ. But that's not really the point of this video because I'm retired and every day is a holiday. Not really. I think really the point of the video today is the fact that it's hard to have a holiday when you are a full-time, self-employed, independent author because JT and I did a podcast about this, that it is hard to take a vacation from your brain. And even when we are not actively writing at the keyboard or on a piece of paper or however we do it, we're always thinking about our writing. We're coming up with new story ideas. We're tweaking the stories we've already been working on. And the mind is just going 24/7, including when we're asleep, because some of the things I've dreamt in the past have ended up in my stories. So holidays are not something that I really think about, especially now that I'm no longer working in 8 to 5, 5 days a week job, because I can kind of take a day off whenever I want. But the problem is that even when I'm taking time off, I'm not really taking time off. I don't know if that makes sense, but if you are an author, I'm sure you will understand where I'm coming from on this, because the mind is always going. And it is a day where I am trying to wrap up the first draft of my work in progress. I did finish this draft, but I am revising a few things because my betas are waiting to go over it. And I do realize that it doesn't have to be perfect at this stage, but I at least want it to make sense. So I am rewriting a couple of chapters. And again, I have been watching movies and things like that. And as I'm relaxing, things are going in the back of my mind. And so I did have some ideas on how to improve things. And I think doing these videos has also helped me because talking through what I'm doing makes me more aware of maybe where I'm falling a little short. So I had talked briefly in a previous video about the fact that I need to work on my pacing, my rising action, how to end my chapters so that the reader wants to continue on with the next chapter. And it is a learning process. I understand the theory, and if I sit down and really spend a lot of time, I'm sure I could be very good at it. But I'm trying to get these stories on paper, and I'm hoping over time, as I continue to do this, my writing process will improve. And I think that's true of most of us. We're never going to be perfect, but we're always trying to improve on what we're doing. Maybe approach our stories better, not necessarily have better ideas, but figure out better ways to present our ideas, or maybe improve our characters, or just there are so many different things that we can improve on when we are writing, and it is a challenge sometimes. So I think it's especially challenging because, as I said, our minds never really get a rest from writing because there's always something going on in the subconscious. So it can be hard to kind of come back to things with a fresh eye. I know that some people recommend that you set aside a manuscript for 6 weeks and then go back and look at it, but I've never been able to work that way because I need to continue on with something until I reach a natural conclusion and go through the various steps of the process and just move on. I can't go back and keep revisiting things. I don't know if that's just a personality thing. Maybe it's something that I could unlearn, but at this point I'm really trying to be better about finishing projects, about being consistent. And again, as I've mentioned previously, that's one reason I'm doing these daily videos, is trying to build up a rhythm and a sense of consistency, because recording these videos actually keeps me accountable in my writing. And I know that if I'm going to be updating people, updating people about what I'm doing in my writing, I need to actually be writing. So far, 18 days into the year, I do feel like it's working well. It's going to be interesting as we head into the third week of the year. You know, if I plan to do this daily for the rest of the year, that's another 49 and a half weeks of daily videos. And obviously, some days are shorter than others, but it is going to be a challenge, because there are going to be days where I don't feel like it, or where I don't think I have anything to say. And that's true of my writing too. There are days when I don't feel like it and I don't think I have anything to say, but I need to sit down and just do it, because, like I said, there's no rest from writing. There's no way to take a break from my brain. So I just keep doing what I'm doing, and hopefully, as I'm doing this, I will improve. And I do know that looking back at some of my very early writing from 40 years ago, I have improved. I have become more mature, obviously, in life experience. I've become more mature because I've taken a lot of college courses and have 3 degrees at this point, two associates and a bachelor's. And not all of that was writing related, but I think just learning in general is good for the mental processes. And that's one reason I do play games every day too, because I'm trying to keep the mind going. And it's supposed to be good for your cognition. And as you're aging, that's something you really need to work on, because you don't want your mind to really stop working, because it's not good for you. It's like daily physical exercise. You need to do daily mental exercise too. So those are all the things that I'm trying to be consistent about. And really, I think the combination of doing my daily videos and doing my daily writing sessions is really helping that. And I think that even though it is hard for me to take a holiday break, it's not impossible, because there will be times when I'll be able to maybe go out and see a new movie, maybe out somewhere like a movie theater, which I haven't done for quite a while now. And I might be so distracted by that I'm not consciously thinking about writing. Then again, when JT and I wrote From Tundra to Tiara, it was based on an experience we had at seeing a movie. We'd gone to see The Lost City with Sandra Bullock, Channing Tatum, and Daniel Radcliffe. Very funny movie. In fact, I think I'm due for a rewatch. But it's a little bit like Romancing the Stone, and Sandra Bullock's character is a romance writer, and Channing Tatum is her cover model, and they go off on an adventure. So we really enjoyed the story. It was a lot of fun, and it was relaxing, because sometimes you just need those popcorn movies. And when we were leaving the theater, we talked about, it would be fun to write something like that. So we did. It didn't turn out quite the way the movie did, because obviously we have our own way of doing things, but it was really fun for JT and I to sit down and write a book together, where I wrote one chapter and he responded to it. We had a very loose outline when we started, so we weren't quite sure where the story was going to go. We had ideas of certain parts of the story. There were some things that we just threw in there because we thought it would be funny, and I don't know if anyone has the same sense of humor that we do, but it was a fun experience, and working together like that, I think, held us both accountable as well. So you can hear a common theme in today's post, that I'm talking about consistency and accountability a lot, because I'm really thinking about it now that I have been doing this for almost 3 weeks, these daily videos. And I think the consistency and accountability is working out well for me. And I will say that JT and I do have plans to write another book in the Queens and Consorts series. I think I've mentioned this before, but we will probably be doing a rough outline of that and starting on that sometime this year when we get a break from our solo projects. It's fun to have the variety. We can work on, like JT just finished 3 novellas, and he's compiling them into a single book. He released the first novella last year sometime as an ebook, and he had planned to do the same thing with all 3. But when we thought about it, parts 2 and 3 were pretty much ready to go. So it didn't really make sense to release them over time and then go through because then we would need 3 covers for each of the novellas plus a cover for the compilation. So instead of releasing all 3 as single novellas, he's compiling them into a single volume. He does have the cover ready, and he'll be releasing that a couple months from now, I think. I think he's looking at St. Patrick's Day. And so if you're interested, it is Finding Salvation. It is in the Serving Salvation universe. You can go download the first novella. It's 99 cents on Amazon. Or if you sign up for our newsletter, go to www.carsonhume.com. You can get a free PDF or EPUB of Finding Salvation. And if you already subscribed, thank you. Just email us at the website, and you can also get a free either PDF or EPUB, because this is one of those stories that JT is really proud of, and he wants more people to enjoy it. So you can test the waters as to whether you want the full compilation when it comes out in March, but either go find the 99-cent version or sign up for a newsletter and get a free copy. So that's pretty much what's going on in my life right now. It is a quiet Sunday here in Nevada. The weather is pretty nice. It was cloudy this morning, but you can see the sun is shining now, and I'm trying to enjoy my sunroom as much as possible. It's a little chilly. It's only in the low 60s in here right now, but that's not terrible. This is not an insulated sunroom, so it can either get really hot in the summer or really cold in the winter, but during the in-between times when the temperature outside's pretty nice, it's great to sit out here. And I may actually bring my MacBook out here at some point and do some writing. Hadn't even thought about that until just now, but it would be fun to write out here as well. So maybe on those nice days when it's not too chilly and I can spend a little time out here, I'll set up at our table, or I could sit here on my chaise, because it's kind of fun to recline when I'm writing too. Relaxing. Even though I can't take a break from my thoughts, I can give my body a rest, and it's a challenge. I know people who don't write probably think that writing is all, I don't know, rainbows and roses, you might say. But there are challenges to being a full-time writer. And like I said, a lot of the challenge is that you can't take a break from your brain. You don't get a holiday. So if you do get time off for this Martin Luther King weekend, I hope you enjoy your long holiday. This, I think, is the last. I'm trying to think if there are any more real holidays coming up. I don't think we have a lot until May. When I was working full-time, that was always the hardest part of the year, because you are working. You get your regular weekends, but they're never long enough. So if you are in that boat, I do understand how you're feeling, and I do recommend that you take off your time that you've earned. If you have holiday time, if you have sick time, don't hoard it. Take it off when you need it, because sometimes we just need a break. So I hope you do have a good holiday weekend, or have a good weekend. Have a lovely day. Enjoy the weather if it's nice where you are. And until next time, I'm Cassidy Carson, and this is The Life of a Writer. Take care.